The European Union's trade deal with China exposes Brussels' weaknesses and could lead to confrontations with Beijing, an expert has warned. The EU and China concluded negotiations for a trade deal in principle on New Year's Eve after a phone call involving Chinese President Xi Jinping and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Also on the call were German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Emmanuel Macron. The European Commission boasted of the deal last week, saying, the agreement will create a better balance in the EU-China trade relationship. The EU has traditionally been much more open than China to foreign investment. This is true as regards foreign investment in general. China now commits to open up to the EU in a number of key sectors. The statement also said that China has committed to a level playing field, but one expert believes the deal could backfire on the EU. Economist and political analyst, Far Kim Beng, claimed last week that the agreement exposes European weakness. He added, the agreement, sound as it may seem, has exposed the EU, ravaged by the pandemic, as a weaker economic and geopolitical actor. Professor Kim Beng highlights in his article for the South China Morning Post that China's government has signed up to 4 International Labour Organization conventions, which would entail abolishing forced labor, and will therefore be forced to improve its treatment of workers in the country. However, this could therefore lead to confrontations, the analyst said, as Brussels will have to hold Beijing accountable for its actions. China's government has been criticized in recent years for increasingly authoritarian policies, including its treatment of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. Scholars, journalists and whistleblowers have provided swaths of evidence showing human rights abuses of Uyghurs in China, with between 1 million and 3 million people thought to have been placed in detention camps. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden could clash with the EU over the trade deal, as his team said last month that Washington has concerns. Jake Sullivan, who will serve as National Security Advisor to Mr. Biden, tweeted that the new administration would welcome early consultations with our European partners on our common concerns about China's economic practices. Reinhard Bütikofer, chair of the European Parliament's delegation for relations with China, also questioned whether the EU had misjudged the consequences of the deal. He said, the whole idea that the EU must hurry to strike a China deal to impress the US is misguided. It helps EU sovereignty more if we demonstrate that we know when to stand tall to China and to align with partners.